Reggie and Kenya Ware had told us about the health incident that happened with Big Style lately, as far as the situation that he was in.
Right.
Are you aware of this, and do you have any update on how he's doing that you could speak on?
I talked to Big Style, you know what I'm saying? Well, we text, um, and I just told him, he had gotten into a bad car accident, and I told him like, God is good. When you get out of there, do everything that you ever wanted to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he got a lot of ideas he want to put into motion, and he works towards them and all that. And I'm like, yo, see them through, bro. Because life is unpredictable. I've had health scares, and I was sitting in hospitals with wires plugged up into me, and you know what I mean. And when you in those kind of situations, you understand the value of life, you know. And I just want him to get up off the bed and go do that documentary he's working on, put it out, make it a success. You know, the music that he's dealing with. You know what I mean? Go do that. You know what I mean? Do what make you happy. But yeah, I had a feeling that they wasn't gonna be able to take Big Style that easy.
Okay, we do this thing usually in our interviews where we'll do like a roll call where I'll name like an artist or somebody that was around and just try to get like a first memory or impression of them. Are you cool to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Can we start with Snoop?
To me, when you say Snoop, I think about somebody with a style that's fresh. That's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, you would say somebody had flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like when I think about Snoop, I just think about the voice. I think about the smoothness, the it's just a whole nother experience. It's a real cool and calm gangster shit type vibe, but it's cool and calm. It's laid back. And I guess I think of styles first. I think of him stylistically. But when I think about him on a personal level, I think about being in Atlanta when they gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I was on business down there, so I decided to pull up. And I was sitting in the back, just like this, smoking. That's an excuse for me to take another drag. But I was sitting in the back, and Snoop came walking out. And I said, "What's happening, man?" And I hadn't seen him in about a year or two. And I said, "Man, they just gave you all your flowers in that building, man, in front of all the celebrities in the world. They talked about your legacy. They talked about your accomplishments. They thanked you for your achievements and your contributions. How does that feel?" And he said, "It feels wonderful. It feels good. It feels incredible, Crook." And then he took a pull off his joint, and he was like, "You was there from the beginning." And I was like, "Yeah, damn near." And he said, "All that shit that they talked about, you was right there." And I was like, "Yeah." And then Lil Uzi Vert walked out, and Snoop said, "Uzi, come here. Let me introduce you to Long Beach legend Crooked." And I felt like I got an achievement award when he said that. You feel me? Because we want acknowledgement for what we do. We want acknowledgement for the work we put in, all the nights we stay up. I done drug fucking suitcases through cobblestone streets of Budapest after this hip hop shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you want your peers to acknowledge you. And when he said, "Meet this Long Beach legend, Crook," and Vert was like, "Y'all know what's up with Crook?" You know what I'm saying? After getting his Lifetime Achievement Award, it was like the barbershop props on steroids. You feel me? It meant a lot to me in that moment, especially after all we had been through. And we both came off the death row tree.
Okay. What about Shug?
Shug,
Hmm.
champagne Benz with suede interior. That's the first thing I think about. Champagne Benz with suede interior. You know what I'm saying? I think about that. I think about the time we went to his house in Vegas after he got out. And it seemed like a ghost town. Nobody was in there. And he started blowing dust off of shit. Dust just flying up in the air. That's how, it was unoccupied. And he hit a button and a TV just come out the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And Ja Rule and Irv came by. And we was standing in the parking in the driveway. And he was talking about all the money he's just spent on the 3 whips that was sitting out there. And somebody said, if you ain't got them kind of whips, you ain't rapping right. That's what they told me. And I remember that to this day. Like, they was like, yo, if you ain't got them kind of whips, you ain't rapping right. And I was like, wow. I'm sitting here with Ja Rule, he number one. Sitting here, Shug, fresh out, just bought over $1 million worth of cars. I'm about to fuck the game up. That was always my thoughts. I'm about to fuck the game up. I still think like that. I still think like that. I'm about to fuck the game up right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think about that. I think about Shug, you know what I'm saying, in Hawaii. You know what I mean? I think about us all going to Hawaii, man. And Ray J there. You know what I'm saying? And Keisha Cole there. You feel me? Buntry, rest in peace. You know what I mean? And we just parlaying in Hawaii, the Death Row crew. And we was out there living like we platinum already. We ain't sold one fucking record, not this roster. You know what I'm saying? But we was out there like we super platinum artists. You know what I'm saying? Let me rent that Corvette with no top on it. Let me push that down the motherfucking blocks of Maui. You know what I mean? 4 Seasons, hotel in New York. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Jay-Z coming to visit Shug, knocking on my door. After he talked with Shug, knocking on my door saying, yo, Crook, Shug just played me your album. It's phenomenal. Don't never look back. You got it. As a young artist looking at Jay-Z and all his accomplishments, him saying that to me right there, and then about 10 minutes later, Nas pulled up on Shug, and we talking to Nas, and they got the Takeover Ether beef going on at that exact time. They only missed each other by minutes. But they both came to say what up to Big Shug. You know what I'm saying? In New York. That's what I think about. I think about the time we was on Jimmy Kimmel and I was freestyling. You know what I mean? And we sat on that couch and we had fun and we talked about the new album and the possibilities. I think about all that type of shit when I think about Shug. You know what I'm saying? Those are the memories that I think about. I think about seeing his moms. Seeing his moms on the north side of Long Beach at the gas station. You know what I'm saying? On Bellflower. And walking up, because I'm hanging out at the apartments right there next to the fucking gas station. I'm hanging out with the homies. And I look over and I'm off death row for years. And a couple years. And I'm like, yo, that's Suge Mom's right there. And I didn't tell them that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I don't know what's in the minds and hearts of everybody. So, you know what I mean? I ain't tell them that. But that's what I thought. I'm like, yo, that's Suge Mom. I walk over. Hey, Miss Knight, what's going on? She say, Crook. I say, yeah, it's Crooked Eye. She's like, oh, what's up? I was like, you need me to pump that gas? You know what I'm saying? And she said, hey, you know he love you, right? And I said, yeah, I think so. And she said, he love you. And I was like, well, you know what? I got love for him too. You know what I mean? And then she drove off and my homie's like, who was that you was talking to? I was like, oh, somebody I know.
Okay. What about Kurupt?
The lyrical assassin, Kurupt, Young Gotti. When I think about Kurupt, I think about Sup Fred, boom, 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 niggas with hepatitis. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think about. I think about calling out names, because every time they want to talk about Ether, Takeover, Hit 'em Up, No Vaseline, Calling out names in the top 10, man. I don't care. Y'all better start mentioning calling out names, you know what I'm saying? But I just think about somebody who was unafraid to rap with people that could rap well. Because I come up in an industry where people will not even give you a verse back if you give them a verse too strong. You know what I'm saying? If you give them a piece of art that's just too strong and they don't feel like they can match that intensity, they just won't even send it back. They'll just duck your phone calls for 6 months. You feel me? But Kurupt was never like that. Kurupt was like, yo, come on, let's rap. He's a straight gladiator MC. He don't care. You know what I mean? Let's do it. And he gave me my first shot on a big album. Big Style, well, Chucky Miller gave me my first shot, then Big Style on another level, and then Kurupt on another level. When he put me on Streets as a Mother, I was a kid living on Linden in a 2-bedroom apartment with my kids and my baby mama. You know what I'm saying? And I was catching the bus, the number 5 Long Beach Boulevard bus. I had just scraped up enough money to buy me a Chevy Beretta and put a little kicker box in that bitch. And when I went over there and to the studio and he said, you're going to be on this album, I said, yo, man, that's beautiful, man. Because Kurupt was everything to the lyricist community. He was everything come on, man, Kurupt the Kingpin, period. You know, and when he put me on that album, he gave me a shot and he didn't treat me like the other artists did that was scared to rap with me, you know, and I really respected him for that. And I always tell him that. He probably tired of me telling him that. Right now, today, when I go to a show or something like that, I'll be like, man, thank you for that shot you gave me, dog. I really appreciate that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what I think about when I think about Kurupt. I think about one of the most dangerous MCs on the microphone that people don't give his flowers. They don't give him enough flowers. Kurupt is one of the most dangerous MCs to touch it. When he was in his super prime, they wasn't fucking with Kurupt.
Okay. What about Daz?
Daz Dilly, I think about when I think about Daz, I think about some boots. It was some boots in the corner at his house. He had just put a SSL board in his house. And it was some boots. I said, man, who boots is them? He said, them Tupac boots. I said, for real? He was like, yeah, them Tupac boots over there. And I was like, what you doing with Tupac boots over there? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, Tupac had passed. And he was like, no, I just want a piece of them in here with me. And I said, damn, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. You know what I mean? When I think about Daz, I think about, party rap at first. You rock the party all night long till the early morning. You know what I mean? I think about that. And then, his progression into being more of an aggressive MC on the mic. You know what I mean? And then I think about his beats. And I think about him being underrated as a producer when people talk about West Coast producers. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about producer rappers, they always talk about Kanye West as a producer/rapper. When they talk about who's the best producer rapper combinations, you're going to hear DJ Quick for sure, because he is, You hear Kanye West, you rarely hear Daz. And he is a producer rapper, and his resume is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, he should get more of his props. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think about. I don't even think about the other shit. It just crossed my mind that I'm giving him a lot of credit right now, and to a person that, at one time we wasn't seeing eye to eye because of some death row shit that we was going through, and it was probably more so people around him. You know what I mean? But we kind of started together. I know they came in the game a little bit before me, and then I was right after them. You know what I'm saying? And I was in those studio sessions when some of them classics was getting made. You feel me? And I saw some of them championships they brought home for sure. So I feel like Daz don't get his proper respect when it comes to being a producer rapper combo. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of them ones, man. Who else could say Dr. Dre taught them how to run the drum machine? You know what I'm saying? Like, he one of them ones.
Okay. And speaking of Dre, what about Dre for the next one?
I think about Dr. Dre, man. I think about the GOAT. I think about the GOAT of West Coast production. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think about when I think about DRE. I think about the swap meet times, you know what I mean? Two turntables, the DJ. I think about the wrecking crew, turn out the lights, you know? I think about Arabian Prince. I think about NWA and the Posse. I think about Easy. I think about, DOC. No one could do a better album that's just probably one of the best debut albums ever. You know what I'm saying? I think about Dr. Dre being behind the boards at Death Row Records. I think about the first time that I really heard Tupac with Dr. Dre because I was a big Tupac fan since he was on Digital Underground's joint, same song. That's how long I was a Tupac fan. I didn't come over to Tupac and be a fan of his music just because he was on Death Row fucking with the West Coast like that, the Southern Cali like that, Compton like that. I was fucking with him when he was fucking around in the Bay. You know what I'm saying? And to hear him on a Dr. Dre beat was something that I was waiting on. When I found out that he was going to be on Death Row Records, I was like, oh shit, this is about to be crazy because he's about to have access to a Dr. Dre fucking beat. And when they did that Cali Love and all that other shit, man, it's like, yo, the blind stares of a million pairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this shit about to be stupid over here now. You know what I'm saying? So Dr. Dre, to have, to me, the reason why I think about the GOAT is because to me he got 3 championship rings. Like some people got 1. You got somebody who got Bad Boy. You got somebody who got, Rockefeller. You got somebody who got, Cash Money, No Limit. This man was instrumental in Ruthless Records, Death Row Records, Aftermath Records. That's a 3-ring type of trio right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking about from Ice Cube being instrumental to a person like Ice Cube's career, being instrumental to a person like Eazy's career, all the way up to Snoop. We all know. I don't gotta name him. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the GOATs, man, and it's really cool that, I'm in a space right now where it's like, yo, I can just call him up and get advice on things sonically. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Pick his brain. I would do the same thing if Shug was on. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, man. It's like, yo, we all come from the same tree almost. You know what I'm saying? We almost, somehow, some way, we come from the same tree. And Dre is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I don't put no other hip-hop producer over Dr. Dre. I just don't. I don't care who came in there and made the beat with him. I don't give a fuck about none of that because when y'all by yourself, y'all shit don't sound like it sound like when you come in there with him. He got that ear. And people need to start putting more respect on people's ears. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in there writing some shit with Dr. Dre one day, and I was like, and I know I'm a technical wizard. And I was like, yo, boom, 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 boom. And he came up to me and said, yo, what if you approached it with this cadence? Da, 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 da. I was like, yo, that shit sound raw. So that's what I'm talking about. He's like the Quincy Jones of this hip hop shit. Straight out. You know what I'm saying? Flat out.
Okay. Last one, Eminem.
Marshall Mathers. Marshall Mathers is one of the coolest super duper stars I ever fucking met in my life. The dude has sold more records than anybody in the history of hip hop, and he's down to earth. He don't do all the Hollywood political games and all of the bullshit that you deal with people who are far less successful as him. That's what I respect about Marshall, man. When I think about Marshall, I think about that, and then I think about hip-hop, because me and him was 2 hip-hop nerds. That's what we talk about. When I get to talking to Marshall, I know I could talk to him about a Redman verse that dropped 30 years ago, and he going to know exactly what verse I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I know I could talk to him about some obscure album from Lakim Shabazz or somebody from, down south that nobody ever heard of before. He going to know what I'm talking about, because we super hip-hop almanacs with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So me and him, we just have those conversations. We could talk for 2 hours just about hip hop. Just about, nigga, you remember that one album when dude said blah, 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 blah? Yeah, we get on that vibe with each other. But other than that, he gave me a chance, man. Just like Shug. There's a reason why I don't talk negative. You know what I'm saying, about people. that I've, you know, come across in my music journey. There's a reason. You know what I mean? And the reason is Suge Knight tried to help me and my family eat. Suge Knight tried to help me and my family eat. See, a lot of these artists, they never really been in the trenches and risked their freedom to help their family eat. They never done that. So they don't understand when somebody comes to the table and helps you and your family eat and pay bills. They giving you one more day that you don't gotta be going out of state with that thing in the fucking trunk. That you ain't gotta be going out of state trying to do something behind the scenes because you trying to keep your motherfucking family afloat while you chase your rap dreams. They don't understand that life. So they don't be real gratitude. They don't have gratitude. They don't be grateful. I'm grateful that he tried to help me and my family eat. And for a certain amount of time, he was helping us eat. We was eating. I'm always salute that. Same with Marshall Mathers. I'm always salute that. I'm not going to go back and bad talk Eminem because I got released from Shady Records. No, I still talk to Marshall today. Even with the release, I could call him right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I got motherfucking gratitude that you tried to help me and my family get to another motherfucking level. But I understand now that a lot of people that's out here, they backbiting and talking about people that helped to feed them and all this other shit, gave them opportunities. They all forget about that shit. They get amnesia all of a sudden. They get on some brand new shit and want to talk shit about people and never mention the good stuff that people did for them. But I'm never going to be that type of person because I've been in the trenches before. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to do some shit that you really don't want to do that's against your nature, but you gotta do it so you can put that fucking food on the table. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it's like for somebody to give you a helping hand so you don't have to ever do that again. So I just got too much respect for Marshall in that regard, Paul Rosenberg in that regard, Suge Knight in that regard, Reggie Wright in that regard. You feel me? Like the people that I come across, and then they say, man, Irv out here tripping. But guess what? I don't know what Irv doing. All I know is that Irv gave me a shot. All I know is that Irv treated me well. So I'm going to always salute that. Period. That's how I'm cut.